Dr. Beth Westy here, and tonight I'm going to talk about how to naturally help your PCOS. So for those of you not familiar with my background, my story, how I got started doing this work with women was actually because of this. PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. Really fancy long word for saying your ovaries go berserk and make big cysts, and sometimes not even big, sometimes a lot of them, right? There's a lot of women that can have PCOS or have PCOS symptoms and not realize it, because not everybody looks the same and not everybody has the same background and story with it, right? Mine started after I had my third kid. Why after I had my third kid? Because I was under a crap ton of stress. I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old already, right? And I had had a miscarriage and then was having my third pregnancy, and she was preemie. I had complications. I'm a high-risk person. She came 2 months early, all these things, and I was working full-time. I had started a new business, all this stuff, right? Lots of stress in my life with a preemie, a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and tons of stress, of course, right? Of course something, right? Of course my system's like, warning, hello, right? I started getting cysts every month, and mine burst every single month. It was really, really bad. Really, really bad. Hi, Amy. Mine started after my second kid. Yeah, right? Yeah. So it doesn't have to be when you're younger. Some gals, they get them when they're younger. They get them when they're like like a teenager or something. For some gals, it is not till they are older. You know, it can be after stressful events. Your hormones shift and change. This is part of the process. So it doesn't have to be, you know, a textbook case for you to have this. So there's a lot of women that I'll go through and do their Dutch results, which is a hormone test it's dried urine, right? I'll go through and do, and I'll be like, you know, have you ever been told this or that? Oh, well, somebody said I might, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It can be literally something like that where you're like, oh yeah, I guess I do, because your hormone levels are showing it. Mine started after my ex-mother-in-law moved in. Oh, Carrie. Oh my. I don't mean to laugh. Wow. Yeah. Stress. So, with that in mind, that's what happens, right? Something goes on in your system. I don't want to say goes wrong, but things happen in your system, and all of a sudden your body's like, boom, warning, we need help. Something needs to shift and change. Flashing neon sign. Flashing neon sign is cysts. And again, they can present differently in other people. Mine burst every month. Yours don't have to. You can just have a lot of pain with ovulation, and a lot of pain with your cycle. You know, you can have a lot of, you know, high testosterone and more testosterone issues than necessarily estrogen. It's different person to person, and it can shift and change with other life events. Yay, so exciting. Oh my gosh. It's funny now, Carrie, right? I'm sure, right? Working through all of that. Francis, how bad can that affect you from getting pregnant? Ooh, good question. A lot of gals with PCOS actually struggle with fertility issues. So that's one of the things. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that's one of the things that can impact PCOS. Now for me, again, I had kids and we were done having children. So I had a lot of side effects from birth control, but that was the doctor, like the OB I saw in the emergency room after one of my cysts burst. Good times. His solution for me was birth control and Vicodin forever. That was it. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't like that. I want something different. And that's where I went down the rabbit hole and started working with Eastern medicine, eating for your hormones and cycle, and really finding the root cause of it versus just trying to deal with the pain of it, right? I'll go through this in just a minute. Yeah, but for a lot of gals, if this happens before you have kids, right? If you have issues as a teenager or in your 20s, things like that, it can impact your fertility. And you still have this is still the same pathway. It's not different. So there's a lot of women that I work with that have issues with hormones, right? That are related to endometriosis, fibroids, and PCOS, that they've done all these things over here, But without doing this piece, you're missing the beginning part of it. You really are. So that's what we're going to talk about, really shifting and changing this. Now, I do work on some of these things in the 12-week challenge. I also have a fertility protocol that I take women through. That's separate than the 12-week, so just want to make that clear. But I'll put the link here for the waitlist for the 12-week. If you're like, I want to learn more about this, I want to do more with this, I definitely want to dive in more, and get more involved with this. How do I do that? 12-week challenge right there in the comments. Get on that waitlist. There's a ton of info there, things for you to even get started on, right? And you're going to learn more about your body and system and how to work with it. And again, identify where you need to look first, because a lot of us are doing a lot of really good things. We're just not starting at the beginning, right? It's like getting a puzzle and you're only getting half of the pieces. So you're putting together the picture, over here with half of the pieces, but you're still missing the other half. You're still missing the other half. This is where we look at the full picture and get all the pieces and see everything and go from there. Yes. Yes. I got diagnosed with PCOS last year, and yesterday my doctor explained it to me. This live is for me. Oh, how about timing for that? Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of crazy, but yeah. So PCOS, diving into the things. Now, again, this is a really tough thing, and I want to preface this by saying how I talk about PCOS is very different than how a lot of other people do, right? And I'm not saying the information is wrong. I'm just saying that it's different, right? Again, really looking at the root cause, all the things, right? And so I'm not going to work backwards with it. I'm going to start here and we're going to work forward, because my whole philosophy on health for women, because I'm a women's health expert, is working with body physiology. You start with human female physiology. How does that work? And that's how you work. That's what you do. That's what you work with. How does your system function? We're going to work with that and get it to function the best it can. That way you're going to feel better and you're going to get and keep the best results possible. Yes, that's it, right? We can't work backwards from it. And I'll explain that in a little bit. But essentially, when you're having PCOS issues and symptoms, that's a tissue impact, right? That's where the cysts are, right? So you're getting this right here. Where does it come from though? That's a downstream issue, right? I've talked about that in some videos recently, downstream. The original problem comes from a hormone imbalance. Again, Dutch test, that's one of the things that I do. Amazing test where we see your hormone metabolites, the step-by-step pathway for your system. That's what we see. It's not because your cysts don't randomly decide on their own to, your ovaries don't start to pop out cysts everywhere, blah, 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 and all this stuff. It doesn't, your ovaries and your organs and your uterus and all these other things, it doesn't decide on its own to do it. It's just an organ. It's told what to do from the hormones, right? That's the thing where I feel like we get disconnected or misinformed about how our body really works. Your organs, right? Your uterus and ovaries and things, they're just there. They only do what they're told to do. They're only impacted by what they're told to do. They're told what to do from your nervous system and from your endocrine system. Yes. Stephanie, yes, Dutch testing is a game changer, right? Yes. Yeah. So once they're told what to do, then they're going to respond to that, right? That's what they're going to respond with. So you can do all the things down here, but without taking care of this, it's not going to help the issue, right? Your organs don't do it on their own. So we keep blaming the organ. We keep blaming the ovaries. We keep blaming the uterus. The uterus isn't the cause of it, though. It comes from something else. Just like thyroid, right? Just like all these other organs in your system. They don't act on their own. They're told what to do and they do what they're told. And they're told by the nervous system and the endocrine system, so your hormones. Nerves and hormones. Nerves and hormones. Nerves and... I could make a song and dance, but I won't. So, with that hormone imbalance, I'm spending so much time hammering on this because it's a whole different thought process. It's a whole different thing to realize, oh, holy crap. Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, your body is amazing and works in amazing ways. Your heart just beats. You don't have to think and tell it to do it. It just does it, right? Same thing with breathing, but you can consciously have your breathing shift and change, right? Your body is amazing in so many ways. And this one way, it does this imbalance in a way because it's protecting you from something, or there's something else shifting and changing, right? For me, it was stress. For you, it might be something else. You might be exposed to other toxins. There might be other things that you haven't processed through. Maybe your liver needs help, and that's why it's not processing out, and that's creating a hormone imbalance, right? I find that a lot with women. That's stress, liver issues, things like that, that's creating this hormone imbalance. That's the cause of it, right? That's where the imbalance is from. That's the upstream issue. That's the real problem. But if we spend all our time looking at the tissue, looking at the uterus, looking at the ovaries, we're missing where it's coming from. So to take care of that, hormone detox, really doing it. Liver does like 85% of all the detoxing in your body and system, and that's usually what needs help. Hormone detox. And then eating for your cycle to help this stay balanced. So that's what I teach. That's what my whole book is about, The Female Fat Solution. This is on Amazon. It talks about eating for your hormones in your cycle, all the things here. My YouTube channel is just Dr. Beth Wesley. My podcast is The Female Health Solution. All these things are really designed around women's health and really supporting your hormones. So this is what we also teach in the 12-week challenge. I walk you through this step by step. Eating for your hormones in your cycle. If you need a hormone detox, we will go walk through that too. Because sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not pretty. But it will always put you in a different position with your hormones. So they're not so imbalanced, and you get set on a different path from there. Because on the current path that you're on, you're just going to keep repeating it. You can get cysts removed, you can get all those other things happen, but if you don't take care of the imbalance of where it's coming from, it's going to keep repeating itself. That's why I had cysts for a year and a half. A year and a half. That was not a good time. Not a good time. No. So from there, you have the hormone imbalance, and then you have the tissue impact, right? The ovaries, the cysts, all those things, right? Other things there, right? So once you have the tissue impact, well, what can I do for that, right? Oh, of course, exercise, movement, staying healthier, etc., blah, blah, blah. Manual therapy can be really helpful. Again, I'm a chiropractor by training, so getting adjusted, getting massage, acupuncture, lymph drainage, all that stuff can be very helpful for the tissue itself. Wonderful, right? Because if you don't get that work done, right, you have a hormone imbalance, you have the tissue impact, which is the cyst, right? That also then leads to pain and inflammation. This is what you're feeling. This is a symptom. You have pain, you have the inflammation. It's terrible, right? It's terrible. You could have really irregular cycles. You're going to have weight gain, inability to lose weight because of the excess estrogen, all these other things. And this is where most people start with their PCOS helpful things. Again, I'm not saying that they're not helpful. They are, right? Sure, non-inflammatory nutrition, cyclic care, really, taking care of your foods. But for a lot of stuff I see, it's like, oh, this is how you eat for PCOS, and it's like kale and spinach and avocados and yeah, sure, yeah. And I'm not saying that that's not true. That absolutely. But again, you're focusing way downstream here, way downstream. And without starting here, you're just destined to kind of it's going to keep flowing. It's going to keep flowing, right? You have to work on all of it at once. That's the magic, is working on all of it at once. Not just one piece of it, one facet, and expecting it to just get better on its own. Carrie, I hate kale. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh, that's a really weird comment. Somebody's left a really weird comment on here. What? So, okay. No. How do I report? I don't. Okay, I'm just gonna delete that one. That one was weird. Okay, Dutch testing, yes. Doctor told me she wants to put me on metformin for something I can manage solely with diet, or should I get insulin resistance and meds, blah, 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 blah. Ooh, that's a really good question, right? So, again, my mission here is to educate and empower women for you to get back in the driver's seat with your health. and giving you all of the information and looking at things in a different way can be helpful for the path that you want to go on. So again, there's no right or wrong here with where you're going to go with it. There isn't. But this is something that's very, very common. So metformin, that is typically something that is recommended for people who are diabetic, have blood sugar issues, all these other things, which is very common for women with PCOS. They have issues regulating their blood sugar. Why? Because of increased adipose tissue, increased fat tissue, right? Why? Because of the estrogen dominance, right? Why? Because of the estrogen dominance. So you have blood sugar issues. So they're giving you something for here, not addressing it up here. That does not help regulate your hormones. So it's all about, so where do you want to start, right? Yeah, metformin is something that's supposed to help manage the blood sugars and everything else and can help with weight loss, right? But again, if it's from PCOS and hormones, my philosophy on this is to let's work here and work all the way down in a different direction, if that makes sense. So, Joanna, if this does not answer your question fully, feel free to reach out to me or message me. I'm more than happy, to help. But again, this is your body, it's your health. I want to make sure that you feel like you have options and you feel really good about the decision you're making and that it's the right one for you. Because everybody's going to have their own individual, response, right? Yes. Yeah. The root cause, yes. Oh my God, why does this weird guy person keep trying to comment with this? I don't know what this is. Okay. That's not a thing. No. Okay. Why does the detox make it not pretty? Okay. Just doing a hormone detox, if you're doing it right, it can be a little funky. You can smell weird, right? You're shifting and changing hormones. You can have a period that is just awful because you're flushing out, right? It's like hormones get log jammed, right? They're not moving through. All of a sudden we open things up in the liver, whoosh, move things through. Really good thing overall. Just a process to get through, right? Yes. Yes. Oh my God, I had a friend of mine. She was detoxing off of birth control and I was helping her with it. And she'd never really had acne issues before, but coming off this birth control, she was like, holy cow, my acne, what? And I was like, just ride it out. It'll be a couple of weeks. And it was like almost 2 weeks exactly. And all of a sudden her face cleared up like that. And she's like, I don't understand it. My face was like a pizza. And now all of a sudden I was like, yeah, it's everything, right? It's everything. That's the not pretty part. Yeah. Yes. Erica. Hi, Erica. Yeah, I was on metformin and it made me feel horrible, right? Yeah. It's not, yeah. My sis, and it's working. Yeah. I hate kale. Yeah, that's my favorite. Very weird. Yes. Can you develop PCOS later in life? Yes. Brought to my doctor's attention and was told that could not just pop up, but something that women had to all their life. I'm going to get sweaty about this. So this was literally me. I had 3 children and then had PCOS. I never had a cyst before in my life. I never had a cyst before I had kids. I was 30, right? I had 3 kids, I was 30, and I started getting cysts, and it was horrific. And I never had a cyst before. So what they're looking at when they say that, they don't, again, this is my professional opinion on the matter. They do not do enough research on women's health. They do not do a thorough job researching the origin, all these other things, how it impacts. They don't do long-term studies. They don't do lifetime studies. There's a fantastic book. It's called Doing Harm. And it really, she does a beautiful job covering, yes, actually right here. I have books all around me. I should show you guys. I'm redoing my office space, but books like all around me because I just absorbed this. Great book on women's health. And this is a really long live, by the way. In case you're wondering, it's going on forever, about, it's literally about how, the truth about how bad medicine, lazy science leave women dismissed, misdiagnosed, and sick. Fantastic for on this, where they're like, oh yeah, later in life that can't happen. Oh really? Because it happened to me. It happens to a lot of women. Just because it's not textbook for what they studied, I don't know, 60 years ago when they wrote that textbook, and they haven't updated it since. Oh, by the way, they mostly study white men when they do stuff, leaving out entire groups of women. Like, come on. That's my professional opinion on that, Jessica. So can you do that? Absolutely, you can. That happened to me. Yes. Okay. Carrie, you're on metformin now. Would love not to be on it. Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So for those of you that have gone to the doctor and had hormones tested and you had a blood test and they're like, oh, it's normal. And you're like, yeah, but I don't feel normal. There's other ways to test, and we use Dutch test. This is dried urine, and it gives me this is the entire pathway, right? This is a sample, but this is the entire pathway of things, how your body is processing it. It matters, and it makes a difference. Yes. Joanne, you're reporting that guy. Yes, that's awesome. Oh, you guys are too funny. I love it. Yeah, but I'm doing this video because I've had a lot of questions on this, and this topic really hits home for me because this is what got me started in doing this work. This is what really opened my eyes. Having ovarian cysts that were awful. Being led in a completely wrong direction. Being made to feel like I was crazy for trying to take supplements for this, and then not having a great, protocol or really even understanding why this would be. Like, I went through, a graduate health program, and they do not differentiate male and female for a lot of things. And then they don't even, I'm going to go on a whole other rant if I get started on this, but women can develop hormone issues at any stage in life, and stressors, toxins, other things impact your hormones, and it matters. It all matters. So when I go through and when we work together and do things with the Dutch test, or you are in the 12-week challenge and we talk about things like PCOS or what to do, it all matters. I want to know about your health history, about traumas that you've been through, about all the things that you have going on and your goals, so we can bridge that gap and make a change. Because without that, you can't move forward. Your system is going to respond differently than other people's systems. What your body's been through is going to be different. And it just doesn't work. Why don't our doctors do the Dutch test? That's a whole other insurance conversation, and insurance doesn't cover it and everything else because it's not health insurance, it's sick insurance, all those other things, right? They don't do it. They don't dive in. Why don't they study women's health? Why don't they really do studies on women? Why don't they study pharmaceuticals? I mean, they don't study pharmaceuticals on people long-term enough anyway, but they don't even study them on women. Majority of pharmaceutical studies and everything are done on men. Women weren't even a part of pharmaceutical studies until 1993. That means when birth controls were developed and everything, 60s, 70s, 80s, all of these studies were done on men that were 140 pounds. That was considered to be equivalent of a female. I didn't make this up. This is out there. This is what I found. This is what got me so livid that I went down this path. Because I was like, why is birth control my only option? And researching all this stuff and finding out that birth control, when it was being created and studied, it was not studied on women. The population it was supposed to be used for, that's not who it was studied on. It was studied on men. Men are studied, right? And even now that women are part of studies, right? Now that women are part of studies, we're not even the majority. It's not even the majority. They don't even use female mice. I can't, again, the book, if you want to get fired up about stuff, this has been one of the best books I have found that really encompasses how women are left out of the conversation. And they leave all women out. They do not even differentiate between white women, Latina women, black women. They don't. And female bodies are also different. And stressors and everything are different. That's a whole other life. That's a whole other day. But I wish they did. I wish they did the Dutch. Yes, 93, right? Yes. Yeah, I wish that they would do more and do more than just a blood test, because it's not about what's in your blood. It's about what your body processes. So it's just like this. Like I was just chatting with somebody earlier today. Absolute truth, right? Where she had gotten a blood test and it said that levels were off in her blood. Yet when we looked at the Dutch test, they looked fine. And she was like, I don't understand why this is different. And I said, listen, just because it's in your system doesn't mean you're processing it. You know, you have to, for it to be used, if you're taking a supplement or whatever it is in your system, you have to absorb it, and then you have to process and metabolize it and utilize it. All those steps have to happen. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. You could be taking the best supplements in the world, but if your gut is terrible, you're not absorbing it, it doesn't matter. So we see that in the urine. I see nutrient deficiencies all the time in this test because it matters in what's getting processed. And if you're processing it, we'll see the markers in your urine. We'll see it in the output. I don't care what you're putting in. You can be putting the best stuff in the world in your body. But if there's, right, you like a machine, put things in, the machine works, and then you have the output. What Dutch does is it tests the output. When you're getting a blood test, you're like taking a sample from the machine at a different point in the machine, not the output, right? But you, again, best stuff in, machine, you want to test the output, what's actually being worked through there. Yes. Ooh, good question, Gabriella. Dutch test, my website, which is drbethwesty.com. You can go there and learn about the Dutch test there. Yes, but I also, for some gals that do the 12-week challenge, they also do the Dutch test as well, because I created protocol and everything for you. So this was a really long video. Just kind of spit there too. I got off on a little rant. I get a little excited about this. I get a little into it. This is literally what I've chosen to dedicate my life to because of this. And it hits home for me so much because this is what got me started. And I see so much stuff out there. Again, it's not that it's bad information, but it's just giving you this stuff. Like maybe something here. Oh, maybe something here, right? Targeting these things. If you are not targeting these things here, you're going to just have a recurrence. You're going to have a recurrence of it, right? You're going to have a recurrence. So what my recommendation and what I love educating women on is really, okay, this is how your body works and functions. Here's all the pieces of the puzzle that we need to look at and work with so that your body functions better, you feel better, and you get to keep a better result. I started doing this. I went through a hormone detox and I eat for my hormones in my cycle to keep it that way, to maintain it. So no matter what stressors or other things I have going on, I am not getting a recurrent cyst. So I had cysts, my youngest was born, and I had cysts then for a year and a half straight. A year and a half, they burst every single month. Put me on the floor. Just would drop me. They're painful. And once I went through this process, I haven't had a cyst since. And my daughter's 10 now. So that's 8.5 years. Yeah. Lots of other stuff happened in my life. I share more about that on my podcast if you're ever wanting to go through and listen to some of that stuff. I have episodes sprinkled here and there on it. But yeah, even though no matter what stressors, no matter what other big traumas, things like that I've been through, I have been able to maintain this health in my life because of this, because of that care. And that's what I want women to for you to be able to do for yourself too. Because it's not magic, right? It's working with human physiology. Yeah. Yes. Even my female gyno thought I was nuts because she can't see anything wrong, so it must be my head. Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't see it because... Nope. Right, Connie? Yeah. Oh my gosh. So many women, that's a whole thing. The word hysterectomy, hysteria. They label those. Nope. Siri thought I was talking to her for a second. Hysteria. They labeled it like that because... No, Siri. My Siri keeps popping up. They labeled it that because they thought women were crazy. Because they don't study women. Oh, I don't understand. I don't know. Must be nuts. I don't know. How about you do a really good study for more than 10 minutes? Sorry. It's not funny, but I just get so bored about it. Okay. Yes, it is long. Okay. I just got my results back. Yay! I know, right? Yeah, they're so painful. Going to the ER thinking that you're dying. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's literally what it is. Cysts are so painful. All right. This is long tonight. This is a long one. Thank you guys for sticking in there the whole way through. So, in conclusion to my never-ending lecture on PCOS, just kidding. These are the basic things. These are the things to look at, right? But overall, my goal here is to get you guys to think differently about how your body works and functions, and realize you've only been giving snippets of information. You've only been given some pieces of the puzzle. And when you have all the pieces of the puzzle, you can really work at it from a different way, a different angle, and it puts you back in the driver's seat for your own health. Yes. So again, resources I have for you. My book, The Female Fat Solution. This is on Amazon. Dutch testing. This is on my website, which is drbethwesty.com. My podcast, The Female Health Solution, and then my YouTube channel, which is called Dr. Beth Westy. Tons more videos and things and resources for you guys. But most of all, if you are looking to really get this taken care of, if you are like, yes, I want to do something, we do it in the 12-week challenge. We work together in the 12-week challenge. I give everybody a custom protocol. We work together, making sure that you can do all of these things in the right timing for your body and system, so that you're seeing and feeling completely different results that you get to keep. So next year, you're not starting over. Next year, you're not lost, right? You are on the right path for you. Yes. Okay. Worked with an OBGYN for 5 years, had many women coming with cysts and all put on synthetic hormones and pain medicine. Yeah. There's a lot of things that you can do. So that's my goal. So if you found this helpful, I would so love and appreciate you sharing it with other women that could use this message, because so many women just need more information to make the right informed decisions for themselves. So thank you for tuning in. Let me know if you need anything else. I'm here as a resource. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your night, and I will see you guys later.